Hello and welcome to Simply Colorful Fibercast. Today's date is February 5th, 2021. My name is Lynn Marquardt and I'm your host. Welcome. Grab a project and let's see what we can do in the next 60 minutes. It's warm. For those of you who tuned in last week, I was cold, but now I'm warm. The heat is fixed and we are back in business. And the sewing machine's working, it's not squeaking, and we are inspired by some Minky tonight. And the fact that we're in February and Valentine's Day is but a few mere days away. And I'm inspired by my friend Deb, who sewed Minky together, and I have some Minky scraps. I have some white, and I have 2 long pieces of red. And I've been wanting to do some crumb quilting. Hi, Colleen! Sunny left coast of California. Oh, and you got your second shot Wednesday. Congratulations. This is just wonderful news. That's great. Hey, way to go. Monty Pop, way to go. Well, good. For those of you who might be joining and not seeing the comments, I understand they populate about a day or 2 later. So they're comments in YouTube. But for those of you who are new, welcome. We're going to do some crumb quilting today. This is my inspiration. So this is going to be the backing, is this Minky, the red and white. And I have, as you can see, a pile of scraps. It never goes down. It's one law of quilting. Hello, Sue. Hello, Leah. One of the main rules of quilting, a scrap pile never goes down, no matter what you do to it. This is kind of cool. I know it's not red and it's off topic, but it's kind of cool. Hey, Marcella. Hi, Pam. Woo, Angela, hello. Thank you, Angela, for saying your name every time. I really appreciate that because I wouldn't recognize it. And Linda B, if you're out there, let us know if you get the quilt. It's on its way to Alberta. I'm going to use these pieces of newsprint to sew my crumbs onto. And I'm going to ultimately, I think, trim them up to 7.5 inches and then sew them all together. So again, we have some red. Oh, and I'm going to turn on my iron so I can iron them. Crumb quilting is nothing more than taking your scraps and sewing them together and using this is my definition, using a foundation paper piece as and when you need it. Hi, Jean. Hi, Kathy. Oh, I'm so glad everyone's getting their shots. Hi, Maggie. Pam, I said hi. Joyce, hello. Love my pile of scraps. Someday soon, Joyce, we're all going to be in front of the same pile of scraps. And we can all pull from it. I can't wait. Hi, KB. KB made the best snowman today. Hi, Dawn. Yes, and happy birthday to KB. Woohoo, another year. Hi, Carol Bell. We're doing some crumb quilting. And I want them to be, well, I guess they don't have to be that small, do they? So I'm going to use that red. And I think I want it to be very bold. Red and whites. And I thought about what I was doing tonight quite a bit. I was looking for some foundation paper piecing. I wanted to find a telephone because I still have in my mind that quilt that had the telephone, but I don't want to piece it by hand. Okay, I've got it at 2.0. That'll be good. I heard a squeak. This is a really fun fun way to quilt if, let's say, you're on a Zoom call and you're listening. The sewing machine on Zoom call still is a bit problematic because you have to mute it. And then when you want to talk, you have to unmute it. So, but if you want something mindless, crumb quilting is really fun because you get to do some favorite things. You get to put colors together. You get to iron them so you get a nice crease. And what more could one want? Now, the question is, how much of a stickler am I going to be? Joyce, I wish you were here to help me with the colors. Am I going to stick to just red and white? Am I going to introduce a few moderns like that? Oh, I really like that, actually. But that would be real. So then I'd be introducing the chartreuse and some orange and some gray. I'm going to hold that. That's a contender. I'm not going to do pinks. Actually, this could be kind of my inspiration fabric. So I looked on the history.com because I thought that would be fun to see what happens this day in history. And I have to admit, I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't have much context or understand much of what happened in history on this day. So I have to do some reading before I talk about too much of it. But there was one thing that I did want to read. So again, this is on history.com. So February 5th in the past, here are some things that happened. In the world of art, literature, and film history, in 1919, so remember, this is when the Spanish flu was in, we were in the throes of the Spanish flu. But the good news is, just like we're learning with COVID, life goes on. In February 5th of 1919, United Artists was created. Specifically, Hollywood heavyweights Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffith joined forces to create their own film studio, which they called United Artists Corporation. United Artists quickly gained prestige in Hollywood thanks to the success of the films of its stars, notably Chaplin's The Gold Rush in 1925. Ooh, so that was well into, now we're in the roaring 20s. As well as the works of actors such as Buster Keaton, Rudolfo Valentino, and Gloria Swanson. Chaplin directed UA films as well as acted in them. I didn't know that. Pickford concentrated on producing after she retired from acting in the 30s. And with the rise of sound during that decade, United Artists was helped by the talents and bankrolls of veteran producers like Joseph Schenck, Samuel Goodwin, Howard Hughes, and Alexander Korda. The corporation began to struggle in the 40s. However, in 51, the production studio was sold and UA became only a financing and distributing facility. And I could go on. So that's kind of interesting. They went on to develop some interesting hits. So that happened back in 1919 on this date. Another thing, so I understood that. And there are a lot of others. Hank Aaron was born on February 5th in 1934. Unfortunately, Hank Aaron passed away just recently. But he was quite a baseball star, slugger. He broke Babe Ruth's legendary record of 714 home runs. He was born in Mobile, Alabama. He began it in the Negro League in 1952. 8 years after Jackie Robinson had integrated baseball. Aaron was the last Negro League player to compete in the majors. He quickly established himself as an important player for the Braves and won the National League batting title in 1956. Well, that's cool. Okay, so that was Hank Aaron. Here's one. I'm going to read it to you and learn together. And I apologize if this is off color or not the right. Hi, Mom. Back in 1777, so this is under American Revolution history, the Georgia Constitution abolished primogeniture and entail. I don't know if I'm saying that right, and I don't know what it means. Primogeniture and entail. So we're going to learn together, and I'm sure many of you already know. But back in 1777, on February 5th, this day, Georgia formally adopted a new state constitution and becomes the first U.S. state to abolish the inheritance practices of primogeniture and entail. Primogeniture ensured that the eldest son in a family inherited the largest portion of his father's property upon the father's death. The practice of entail guaranteed that a landed estate remain in the hands of only one male heir, and it was frequently practiced in conjunction with primogeniture. Virginia abolished entail in 1776, but permitted primogeniture to persist until 1785. Wow. So it's an inheritance law, which Georgia restructured by abolishing entail in all forms and proclaiming that any person who died without a will would have his or her estate divided equally among their children. The widow shall have a children's share or her dower at her option. Well, so this goes on to say the British colonies in North America, and particularly the southern colonies, were known as a haven for younger sons of the British gentry. Most famously, Benjamin Franklin announced in his autobiography that he was the youngest son of the youngest son for 5 generations back. Moving to the colonies was an attractive option for younger sons like Franklin because there younger sons could take their monetary inheritance and build up their own estates, whereas primogeniture and entail prevented them from inheriting similar estates in the mother country. So we learned something new. I promise I'll stop reading and I'll get back to quilting. But that happened back in 1777. Okay, let's go. Here's some more. That's kind of boring. Oh, look at this. This has a little orange, but I like it. That's that. And now here's some white. See, if I do white everywhere, it's really going to be back and forth, but I'm okay with that, I think. Or I could keep it all to a darker value and then circle it with white, but I don't want to do that. I just want to put these all together. Oh, thank you, Jean. Of course we did. We learned about entail on Downton Abbey. You're using the we pretty loosely. I clearly didn't follow that. Thank you. You're so smart. Okay. This really is more like strip piecing it. We're not using crumbs yet, but we will. In fact, the crumbs are probably down here. That's a crumb. Ooh, there's a good crumb. Oh, it's bigger than I thought. Isn't that funny? Only in the land of plenty, in the simply colorful land of plenty, would we be looking amongst big scraps for little scraps. We might have to mix this up because this could get awfully... Oh, this is nice and little. And that's a darker red. I like that. So So that, oh, and here, if we do start to introduce grays, there are some grays, which I do think we want to do. So I'm ironing some things. If we introduce gray, that's green, that's too. But here's gray in chartreuse. I don't know, we might regret adding grays. What do you guys think? Oh, I'm so glad you're out there. Hi, Carol Ritter. Oh, Monty Pup, that's a good idea. Put your crumbs in the corners. Yep. Where did my scissors go now? Here they are. It's got some blue in it. Okay. Sometimes what I do is I sew little crumbs together to make a bigger piece. Clearly, I didn't plan this ahead of time, did I? Ooh, that's a nice big one. Ooh, I love this one. It's got blue in it. All right. So I am. I hope I don't regret this, but I'm going to use this fabric in addition to drive all the colors with an emphasis on the reds. It's going to get so messy. That's very thin. So it was a busy week. We went to the Cape yesterday. I went to the Cape. It was nice to see people. Nice to see Pam and Jean and a different Jean, Emily and Carol, and then Linda. And just nice to see everyone. We all wore our masks, and that is that. I'm glad people are getting vaccinated. So this is very back and forth, very dark and light. Don't think I want that to continue too much. I want to mix it up. We need some chartreuse or something. Go. So I'm trying to get these colors. That's not really chartreuse. It's A little chartreusey, but not really. It's not really yellow enough. Do, 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 do. Patriots. Oh, that's right. We have to talk about the Super Bowl. Yes. Congratulations, says Colleen, to Linda B. up in Alberta. So the next drawing is going to be on, I think we said next week, right? Is that pile on your table or on the floor? It's on my table, Leah. It's in a big bin. There are other piles on the floor behind me. It's embarrassing. This place was cleaned up. And this just is, well, that will do. Patriots doesn't really fit. Not that they're going to be in the Super Bowl, but Tom Brady is. Tommy. I'm going to pull out. I'm going to try and edit out. That's just didn't do it for me. I may have to start pulling these things down. Okay, there's some white. There's a little more orange. I think this came from one of your quilts. Some white. Oh, I could do some black. There's some black in there. It's kind of pinky, but that's okay. Oh, there's blue. Kind of like a blue purple. Well, that's going to mix it up a little, isn't it? But I won't do much of that. Of course, it'll be easy to find blue, right? I'm going to do darker and lighter. Black and white. Ooh, red and white dots. Those are good. Oh, those are stars. And like these, I mean, every scrap quilt I'm ever going to do in my life is going to have this. What's this? Mahone was in kindergarten when Tom won his first Super Bowl. I know, that's a riot. Morning, you look cold there, Lynn, so warm here. Oh, Allie, I'm not. I'm sorry it's warm there. I'm really not cold. We have the heat back. It was more, I just wanted to look a little more dressed up. I went on a walk this morning and that was cold. It's been a cold week to walk, but I've been out there every day. And as I know you have been too, not making much progress here. I've lost my iron completely. Okay, let's get some sewing done. And you know what? I'm going to put this Patriots in there. It's amazing. Where'd that other crumb go? So this crumb on. Here's a little bright orange crumb. No, I have to be restrained here. So here I'm going to put these two together. Uh-oh, I have a squeaking sewing machine. I may have to or not squeak, or I'm going to have to bring it back all the way down to Rhode Island. Okay, so see, I'm making these crumbs. I want them big enough so it can go across. So I'm going to do, actually, here's what I'll do. One thing to try to do is not get too many big seams, because there are going to be a lot of seams anyway, and it's going to end up being a heavy quilt. So if you can, where's my 12-inch ruler? Well, let me go to my ruler stand here. Okay. There we go. So now that that's straight, I can take that crumb. And there are as many ways to do crumb quilting as there are pieces of fabric. There you go. So I'm liking this. We're getting the darks and the lights. Very dramatic. Oh, Anne Vernon is making the coolest string quilt. Oh, and actually, Linda Grant made some Polaroid quilts. And I believe that this is something that the Marathon Quilt Guild did. Nancy Burdick taught everyone, and I have to show these. They're so cool. Let's see. This one is all cats. And I'm only going to show this one because I don't want to get these all mixed up. They're all fitting the right way. Isn't that cool? It's called the Polaroid quilt. I can see that in many of your futures. Imagine the types of things you can put in these Polaroids. And of course, Linda did a beautiful job. Now I so hope I don't get this. Let's see. Do this. Sorry, everyone. Ooh, yes. Carol, do I see her out there? Yes, I can see you doing that. Hi, Sarah. Isn't that a cool quilt? Sarah, your sister says hi. And her quilt is amazing. I have to show you what she has made. Okay. So there's Linda's Polaroid quilts. And again, the Marathon Quilters made them. They had a whole program. So anyone who's in the Hopkinton, Ashland area here in Massachusetts, if you want a quilt guild, they're Zooming. They're having great fun. Here is a t-shirt quilt that Jean made. She did a great job, Sarah. It's going to have a blue background. It's all interfaced and beautifully done. There we go. That one goes on the machine tomorrow morning. Okay. So how did I get off on that? I know, Sarah, don't you love it? Okay. Here's another white. Oh, I bet it was the white that reminded me of the Polaroid. Oh, see, now look at this. You know what? I think I'm going to use the whole page, each of these pages, and I'll just cut it out fully. Why have to use another square, an arbitrary 7.5 inch to square it up, when I can use the paper to square it up? So, given that, check this out. I've got this corner here, and I'm going to use the crumb in the corner. So I won't worry about going all the way to the end. I've got a neutral thread in. I did that before we came on. Hey, thank you, James Marquidant. Today in history, the Spanish-American War ended. The more you know. James, I love that. How are you and your family? I absolutely love the pictures of Keegan. I love them all. Oh, that's a riot. The more you know. Okay. So I'm cutting this off, and this will become a crumb. And this crumb, I will end up using up here or somewhere else. I'll end up using that. But in the meantime, why don't we use one of these, our inspiration fabric. Oh, now I have that that song in my head, James. Do, 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 do. The more you know. Here's a good corner crumb. We are great. Watching with Holly and Caitlin. The boys are good. Just built Connor's big boy bed today. Oh, congratulations. Oh, wow. Way to go, Connor. Way to go, James, for knowing how to build a big boy bed. Now, check this out. I've got this nice corner here. I've got this triangle. I love it when a plan comes together. Now, this is where, wait a second. Because now I have all my rulers in the right place, I have my add a quarter ruler. Some of you may have an add an 1/8 inch ruler. What you do, this is a perfect example of how to use it. If I can remember how. So, okay. So see how when I put my last crumb on, I have all of this excess seam allowance? I want that to be a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So this add a quarter ruler butts up against my foundation paper. And allows me to cut off a 1/4 inch. But there we go. That worked. 1/4 inch. Aw, Holly Hoo. Hello, Holly Hoo. That's kind of a cooler, lighter one. And does it fit? And it fits. So let's do that one. Go. Oh, in geographic news, so the Spanish-American War ended on this day. Today in history. I wonder what day it was. I mean, what year it was. Here's what I know. I don't even know what century it was in. Yeah, boy. I bet you guys do. Anywho, what was I going to say? Oh, in geography news, apparently the road between the right fork and the left fork at Katama is, Mom says it was flooded. She and Aunt Nancy went down and walked the beach, and they think they'll be bringing in some sand, but I guess it's all washed. It's washed out in places. So that's a bummer. See those houses, or at least one house in Sandwich. Oh, KB was asking for, that's awesome. History. Who knew? Oh, you guys, look at that. Okay, so that is our first untrimmed crumb block. And why don't I just trim it up so that we get some satisfaction here. Crumb quilting you can do without your glasses on even. I have to get my hair cut. It's ridiculous. I can't see. It gets in my eyes. Okay, there is our first crumb block. And again, it'll go with, these are going to be the backing. So it's going to be a lap quilt. It's not going to be a big quilt. But there's crumb number one. Crumb number one. Hi again, Deb. Thanks for the walk and the coffee this morning. Now, this one has gold in it, so I'm going to try and keep that out. I need a good chartreuse. Oh, this might do it, although it's already in something. That's a chartreuse, and it must have been a house that I made years ago, but I'm going to tear at least one piece off. Actually, I'm going to use them all because I really like that color. Okay. Nope, there's not any yellow in there. Ooh, that's got the colors. I know, I don't want to veer away too far from my red and white and black. Oh, that's awesome, James. Thank you. $18.99. Wow. Okay, B, your snow people were great. You guys want to see a fun picture? KB, I hope it's okay that I show this. I just love this picture. Can you see the snow people in the back? I love your colors too, KB. I love the blue. Thanks, Linda. Linda, I love that you're joining us on the Open Sews. It's great fun to see your fabulous work. And Sarah is staying to her progress on her Bali. I think it's a Bali quilt, right? You've told me. It's a wedding ring quilt. Bali wedding ring. By Judy, right? This could be a Prevagen commercial. Before and after. Maybe I'll start taking it. That and ginkgo biloba, and then I'll remember something. Judy Niemeyer is the designer, right? So the last one I started in the corner, I think. You can do it any way you feel like it. This one, I guess I'm going to start here in the middle. There we go. There's a nice red and white one. Oh, you like the open sews? I'm psyched. Right? Low key. Tomorrow I will be there. I can only be there for an hour. But you know what? You get so much done even in an hour. And more importantly, you get to see everyone, hear what they're doing, working on. I mean, talk about how cool is it that the embroidery is catching on. And Sue, congratulations on your impending machine delivery. Here's another. There we go. Ooh, I'm going to add black. This is a leftover black square. I think this came from Deb's quilt. Remember she brought us a quilt that had black squares in it and we took the black out? I think that's a leftover from that. Pretty sure. So we're going to have to plan our Super Bowl menu. We're going to have lots of snackies. I think snackies would be good. And it's tough because I like Mahone and the Kansas City Chiefs as well. But I just want one more win for Tommy. Just one, please. One of the highlights of, I think, my life was watching that Snow Bowl game with Bob on Meserve Street. We had friends in the stands who were there, and they were texting or whatever. That was exciting. Okay. I am thoroughly loving the interaction in the open sew, hoping to start I'm so glad, Linda. I can't see the last note. But me too. That's a big piece of white, but I'm okay with it. Because now we're going to add some good dark crumbs to it. I think if we work fast tonight, we can get 2 of these done. That'll be the goal. Oh, I know. For those of you out there, hi, Cherish. Valley Star Wedding Quilt, Judy Niemeyer. Thank you, Sarah. Actually remembering everyone's names. Oh, I know. It comes. And you know what? For anyone who may not have been starting to join the open sews, on Zoom, it should list everyone's names under the window. So it's okay, and there's no you can come every time, or you can come once a month or once a year. There's no obligation to do anything you don't want to do. See, I'm really liking that. Oh. This one needs a little bit more. There's that. There's that. Ooh, this is a fun one. I'll show you that one. Oh, so Valentine's Day will be here before we know it. And it's kind of a Hallmark holiday, I know. Oh, I need to pull out my right ruler. But it's fun nonetheless. It's really not working quite as well as I would like it. There we go. I'm getting there. Look at that. Look right on there. It's a big crumb. This is a big crumb, but I'm okay with it. Wow, this hour has flown by. I love getting in the flow. So, I know. I am. That's the beauty of big pieces, right? Okay, now, where is our chartreuse? Here we go. This is going to be a shocker. You know what? In fact, I'm going to cut this in half, because I don't have too much chartreuse and I want to put it all throughout the quilt. I just want a little bit, you know. There we go. It's right on the end there. Actually, I think Joyce inspired this. Joyce, your string quilt was so cool. And once we get a number of these, then we'll lay them out, and then we can start to play with whether we want every single one to be a crumb. Ooh, here I am chit-chatting. I think I have 2 minutes left. See, this is gonna be fun. Okay, let's put a... There we go, a nice bright red crumb. Okay, so again, we have some inspiration fabrics that we started with, and we're going to trim this up, and we are on our way to making a Valentine crumb mat quilt. Next week, we will do a second drawing for all Simply Colorful patrons. So anyone who's a patron, oh, I need to put a little more right there. If you're not a patron yet, I hope you consider becoming one, because you get perks like the $20 machine quilting gift certificate once a year. You get access to these open sews twice a week. And other perks, other things, mystery quilt clues early. And because we're in our 8th year of doing Fibercast, we have the Grateful Quilt giveaway, GR number 8 full giveaway. And so we gave one quilt away to Linda. We're giving the second quilt away next week. And we actually, what we do is we put your name right in here. These are all the patrons so far, so get your name in there. You have a good chance. Go to Patreon, www.patreon.com/simplycolorful. And sign up there for as little as $2 a month and come play with us. Okay, oh, now I've been really chit-chatting. And everyone is... Carol Bell needs to go to sleep. Bless you for joining us. TGIF, right? There we go. We have 2. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, James, for the history. I love that. I love seeing everyone. Yep, Open Sew is at 11 a.m. tomorrow. I'll see you all there. In the meantime, be safe, be good to yourself, be good to other people, and that's a lot for... Oh, wonderful. Welcome. I'm so glad. See you all later next week for the drawing. Bye.